What's the strangest rule your family had that made no sense until you learned the real reason? We weren't allowed to whistle in the house, and my dad would get genuinely upset if he heard any of us doing it. But he never explained why. Growing up, my siblings and I thought it was the weirdest rule ever. Dad was pretty laid back about most things, but whistling indoors would make him immediately tense and ask us to stop. Mom would just shrug and say, "Dad doesn't like whistling inside," whenever we asked about it. We figured it was some random pet peeve. My brother Jake tested the rule constantly. He'd whistle quietly while doing homework or walking through the hallway, and Dad would always catch him somehow. "Not in the house, son," Dad would say firmly, but never with anger. Just this sad, serious tone that made us all stop questioning it. For 18 years, we just accepted that Dad had a bizarre thing about whistling indoors. We'd whistle outside all we wanted, but inside was off limits. When I went to college, I mentioned this weird family rule to my roommate. She thought it was the strangest thing she'd ever heard. The truth came out when I was 23, during a family dinner where my cousin was visiting. My cousin started whistling while clearing dishes, and Dad politely asked him to stop. My cousin jokingly asked, "What's wrong with whistling?" And that's when Dad finally told us the real reason. During the Korean War, Dad had been captured and held as a prisoner of war for 8 months. The guards used whistling as a signal system to communicate with each other about punishments and interrogations. Whenever Dad heard whistling in the camp, it meant someone was about to be hurt or that bad news was coming. It became a trigger for fear and anxiety that stayed with him for decades. "Whistling indoors reminds me of being trapped," Dad explained quietly. "Outside, it sounds like freedom. Inside, it sounds like danger." We all sat there stunned. Dad had never talked about his war experiences before, and we had no idea he was dealing with trauma from that time. He said he'd never wanted to burden us with his problems or make us feel bad for something that brought us joy. That's why he never explained the rule. "I just needed our home to feel safe," he said. And for me, that meant no whistling inside. From that day forward, none of us ever whistled in the house again. But it wasn't because of a rule anymore. It was because we understood. Dad passed away 5 years ago, and we still don't whistle indoors. It's become our way of honoring his need for peace and the sacrifices he made that we never fully knew about. Sometimes the strangest family rules come from the deepest love and the hardest experiences we'll never fully understand.